In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Welcome back to Darkest Dungeon. I think Chitlin got over his cold.
Nonsense.
So this is going to be another run where I'm just farting around doing things. Right now I'm trying to get a good collection of shit to use. And luckily this is not going to be a long one. Like, this is a lot shorter than some of the short videos.
What did that town event do? I didn't actually read it.
It's the same thing that you do when you do a Purify mission. It's basically you get damage and EXP gained from the next quest.
Oh, okay.
Also, is my mic still on? I heard like noises that sounded like breathing. Might be my imagination, but yeah, this is gonna also be an antiquarian one because I need money.
You're doing fine on cash right now.
I need more money, Chitlin. Lots more money.
I mean, yeah, you're gonna need a whole lot of cash when you upgrade to level 5 weapons.
Oh yeah, my personal file, I've gone broke more than once.
Yeah, that shit is just so expensive.
I mean, it's legendary gear. It's named. Of course it's gonna be expensive. They put a brand on these weapons, dude. That's not cheap. You can't just go around naming all your weapons.
I mean, I would think that'd be the cheapest thing to do, actually.
Yeah, this is my Spear of the Christ Killer. It's just a stone on a stick. Yeah?
Yeah, but it's got a name, dude.
Yeah, I got this incense called Eternal Darkness. That's a video game, dude. Eternal Darkness is a good video game. That's something I would love to LP, but I feel like I would have to do some black magic to emulate it.
I actually considered buying a GameCube just to play Eternal Darkness, but never did, and as such have never actually played the game.
It's really good. It's like Resident Evil meets Eldritch Horror.
Well, one of those sounds okay.
Oh my god, I left the mic on.
Fucking hell, Highway.
How did this happen?
You need a better setup.
I gotta make a new scene after this recording.
You really do. This can't keep happening, Highway.
No, I'm just afraid of what's gonna happen in the next episode, because that one's the one I'm really excited about.
I mean, we can't have dual Highway commentary in two different time frames. It's not working.
I know. This has only happened because I was preparing a backlog at like the deadest hours of night, because I was like, oh shit, that's right, Chitlin needs a backlog.
I mean, look, we don't need a backlog.
Well, we kind of needed one because we're recording this just after you got back from a vacation.
Yeah, but I mean, we could have let the thread rot. No one would have.
Yeah, we kind of.
I don't think we would have caught that much shit for it.
It's mainly just me. I like keeping a schedule.
They breed quickly down there in the dark, but perhaps we can slay them even faster.
Look,
pretty straightforward layout, at least.
Yeah, the Warrens always have very symmetrical layouts. The maps are oftentimes cubes or very uniform squares that never take really long to do.
I really like getting the massive cube layout when I do a boss. That is so much fun.
I always get that, and it's... When you first get it, you're like, ah, shit, this is gonna take forever to find the boss. Until you figure out the secret, and you're like, well, I got a lot of post-boss work to do.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hey.
We haven't seen one of those in like 4 missions.
Yeah.
Who do I want to ruin?
You say so.
Hankasha needs some development. It's kind of funny, in the thread somebody was bringing up how in Darkest Dungeon it's really easy to create stories. And I basically agreed that, yeah, that's like one of the best things about Darkest Dungeon is that you could have really funny stories about how somebody learned to become a mankind hater because they saw someone's flesh splayed out on tree branches. You gotta wonder, how does that happen? How do you hate humanity after you just see something that horrific?
I don't know. I always like when my Houndmaster becomes a beast hater.
I hate you, dog. Another interesting thing that was brought up in the YouTube comments was somebody was wondering what's up with the cultists and the bandits and why do they appear in every dungeon. They are part of a common enemy pool that appears in every dungeon. However, there's a unique twist in that the cultists and the madman will replace enemies at random because they are actively helping these abominations because, you know, they're psycho. Meanwhile, the bandits only ever operate on their own and they don't really work with other units. And there's a good reason for that. Like, there's a reason for why all these random gameplay elements exist. And it really shows how well this game has developed over the year. Wow, that's a strong knife.
Huh. How is the most effective member of your team the Antiquarian?
Well, she didn't... That was her max damage range. She could do up to 10. So she hit pretty hard on that one and the bleed finished it off. She was basically a last hitter.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Compared to Lucy, who still has the level 1 mace.
You really need to upgrade that mace.
I'm never gonna fucking update that mace.
Why? Why?
That's the last thing I update. With Vestals, I never really focus on offense unless I specifically build someone as such.
But when you use Judgment, that uses the mace damage.
Yeah, but I don't use Judgment offensively as often.
You do.
Well, I use it to finish things off.
You could finish things off more effectively with an upgraded mace, Highway.
Look, it's better to put the money I would put upgrading the mace into something like upgrading the Grave Robber and their knife. Because the knife will have a lot more of a payoff than the mace. Plus it's kind of a weird mindset in my own in that I like having the Vestal go last because they are a healer, and by keeping the mace at the base level, they have the lowest speed and therefore will fix any mistakes that happen. Now, granted, I would not recommend this strategy. This is something I like to do personally. What liquid?
Liquid?
Yeah. You okay, Voltic? Bring me blood in the skull of my enemies. Sir, this is a bag of flesh. If anybody gets that comic, you'll know that I am a filthy individual.
Yep, no idea.
Good. This is such a weird trade-off. I never know if I want to do this vanilla or not, because if I remember correctly, doing the barrel just on its own will either give you 20% damage or a disease, so it's just straight up better to disinfect it.
Yeah. There's really no reason not to.
And here are the bandits I was mentioning. They only ever appear with other bandits, because they're an organized group for crime.
I mean, I don't understand why the bandits would come down into the sewers.
Same reason we are. Stuff. Like, there's literally no other reason why we're here aside from either getting loot or killing an eldritch being. Because I personally would not want to be here at all.
As the fiend falls,
I'd rather go back to the township and just sit on my couch for the next month.
I mean, I would think the bandits would focus more on the wield than anything else.
It is that would be thematically appropriate because their boss is there.
maintain the
Yeah, their boss is there, and like they're supposed to be, you know, harassing travelers coming into your hamlet, and that's why you want to take them out. But
I think it's mainly a matter of the bandits are starting to realize, hey, we have this group of 4 just putzing around here. We can mug them in the dark and take their kit.
yeah, I suppose.
At least promises success.
But I just can't see a scenario where the bandits would go up against the pigmen.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. I go to like various image boards to discuss random things, and I remember somebody discussing a pen and paper version of Darkest Dungeon where you would play as the horrors. And one of the funniest jokes I heard is like, anybody feel like the thieves are underpowered? I mean, I know that their bosses. Oh hey, enough about my story.
Nice.
New enemy.
Yeah.
This is actually the tamest one and also the grossest looking. If you remember the little worm munchy things, this is their champion.
Mm-hmm.
He's a teddy bear. He's not threatening at all.
But I really like the animation on one of his attacks. It's
Oh yeah, we're gonna see that today.
good.
Because the man only has 2 attacks and he prefers the other attack.
Death by inches.
That's not it, Oh!
Yep.
Yeah, he goes full alien on you.
I love that animation so much.
But yeah, basically the, I forget what this is called, the large corpse eater? They only have
Yeah.
2 tricks. They either
Well struck.
weaken your damage output, which didn't happen there because it's a bounty hunter, fuck you. And then they weaken your target and then mark them. And then they're supposed to use Devour Flesh on the marked target, which they didn't, which is a little odd.
A little bit.
As victory
But they
is
mainly
won,
exist to be a
So too
HP
will
sack and to
resistance.
provide support in terms of not allowing more damage to come out, which is actually kind of frustrating if they would focus. But for some odd reason, the Large Devourer's AI is not good. It's very dumb.
Yeah, like every other creature that can mark usually focuses on the marked target. That's part of their AI. I don't know why the Corpse Eater is
grievous.
still random.
Wow.
It was 6 damage, but
It's like the highest thing I've ever seen that thing do ever. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to bring up, the discussion of a bunch of new players that bought the game recently. Good job, guys, by the way. This is a really fun game, and the developers deserve support. They were asking, in between AoE and DOT, which was the newbie trap and why. I kind of vaguely touched on this, but I kind of want to go into it in a little bit more detail. DOT used to be a newbie trap because there was no reason to use DOT. Before protection, DOT was just a slower version of a regular attack.
Eradicate.
So in between the lack of corpses and no protection, you would just meat grinder your way to victory. Now with corpses holding positions and protection being a thing, along with DOT damage being much more debilitating, DOT is good if you use it right. Like if you use it on a creature with high protection, such as a ghoul or a high protection enemy in the cove that we have yet to see. Fuck him.
I just want him to show up.
I know, right? DOT is much better, but if you're using it on, say, this big guy, it's kind of a wasted effort. Now, in my opinion, AoE for the most part is the newbie trap. Because in most games like this, you would think, well, I'll just spread the damage across all of them and it'll complete the boss faster. However, in this game, there is no set damage ranges like in, say, Guild Wars or Diablo or Path of Exile. Your characters have the damage, your skills modify them. So with the skill one of the skills I hate the most, such as Breakthrough, Breakthrough has a negative 65% damage range, I believe. I could double check, but I'm too lazy, so I will be wrong here, probably, but that's beside the point. Mathematically, it would be more damage. With Breakthrough at a negative 60% damage range, it would still be 120% damage because you're doing 60% damage, or 180%. No, 40% damage across 3 targets would be 120. So technically you're doing 120% damage, but it's diluted across 3 creatures. So,
Right.
So instead of, it's kind of the same argument I had with Grimrock 2, where the multi-hits attack, the dual wielding is not 120% damage, it's 60% twice. That is the big issue at hand here. You're not getting as much bang for your buck, especially with protection, where that 60% damage becomes 20%. Now, AoE can be good if you use it properly.
The light.
If
the
you're in a
promise of
situation
safety.
where The big example is the Flesh. The Flesh is like a place where you want to use the AoE. But if you're in a situation where the AoE would kill a target and then damage another, then AoE is good. You get value out of that. Good dodge, but Great Evil King. Other than that, though, I would never use AoE as a general purpose. It's
another purpose of AoE for me personally is stuff like Hue and the Grave Robber's double knife throw, whatever that's called. Really good if you've got two weaker enemies like the sword or club skeletons.
Oh, if you have them on point.
Yeah, if you can take out both of them with a single Hue most of the time.
I think that's only in amateur dungeons, because once you go into the veteran, they both the sword skeleton in particular both gets an HP buff and a protection buff. So I feel like Hue and flashing daggers would not be as effective.
Hue in particular is actually really effective because Leper's damage scales really well.
Yeah, that's true. I remember that skill.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really tricky mindset. A lot of people in the thread say Highwing doesn't know what he's talking about, AoE is great. And that might be true for you. But to me, I always feel like the safest option is either a really good stun or just removing the target outright, which is why I like single damage and single target attacks, because they are not modified, they're not decreased in any way, and it removes an action, which is very important.
A victory.
Now there was one person in the thread who was completely right when he said you were wrong about AoEs when talking about Barbaric Yawp. Yes, you were totally wrong.
Yes,
about
thank
that
you.
one.
That's an exception, because it is indeed an AoE, but it classifies more as crowd control rather than, splash damage. That should be the term should be using, not AoE, splash damage.
Well, they mean the same damn thing.
Well, AoE, you have stuff like Barbaric Yawp, Plague Grenade, Flashbang. Those are more for controlling the element of the fight rather than just doing flat damage. Whether splash damage is just you take a Hellion, you do the breakthrough without realizing, oh no, I've done very little damage and now I'm doing even less. Good job, guys.
Yeah, the Hellion's debuffs are just brutal sometimes.
Simply put breakthrough as shit, never use it.
I mean, unless you want to load up on medicinal herbs for every dungeon you bring a Hellion to, it's not worth it most of the time.
Yeah, Barbaric Yawp is just because you get 2 stuns. That's fucking outrageous. And it's the front row, which is where you want those stuns. Oh my god.
Right. Nice.
Seize this momentum.
It's definitely a issue that people have strict arguments with. Mainly because a lot of people complain about my gameplay style because it's very safe.
Who complains about that?
I don't know. It's like some weird voice in the back of my head that just badgers me incessantly. But yeah, I actually had an interesting situation where my my LP.
Did you just walk into a trap you scouted?
Yeah, I was trying to click to that, but I think I overclicked. But there was an interesting thing in that my LP was actually brought up in a image forum where they talk about Darkest Dungeon a lot, and a lot of people say, the LP is good at, playing the game properly, but if you want to have fun, you do shit like dark runs, multiple Vestal runs, multiple Antiquarian runs, you experiment.
Exactly.
Which is true. My LP is not a fun way to have the game. It is meant for you to acclimate yourself to the game, to know what to do and what not to do. And once you're there, then you could do things like have the 4 character runs, or really goofy shit like a rank 4 Man-at-Arms. Especially since the game is pretty long in its own right. On average, you'll be spending 70 missions just getting a team ready for the final dungeon. You have time to play the game in your own right.
Annihilated.
And I mean, if you spend 70 missions, going through the bosses, going through the different difficulties, and you only use the same kind of parties that Highwing's using, always bring a healer, always bring a have your DPS and your stuns and the same skills on every character. You're like, that is so fucking boring.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I won't deny that. I think I haven't experimented yet because I haven't gotten the accessories that allow me to experiment. I really want to use a frontline occultist, damn it. That's my favorite class. But they haven't given me the item.
What item do you even need for a frontline occultist?
I would need the red pot, which gives him high stun and high debuff chance. I would like the high damage pot.
Monstrous size has no intrinsic
But I have
merit,
neither.
unless
This game's
No.
mocking me.
Exsanguination
They're giving me accessories I'm never gonna use. Like right now, the best accessory out of all the missions is in this one, and it's the one that boosts Highwayman knife skills at the cost of gun skills. I don't want that. I want my point and blank shot to do outrageous amounts of damage.
Well, yeah, but if you have a
Some experiments should have
if you have
never
a
happened. You are
like
doing
third
just
row
work
Highwayman, that's actually
ending
really
them.
good.
The knife, really? Because I thought knife skills. Oh yeah, never mind.
You can shuffle him.
Yeah. It's just brain lag.
Yeah.
I was like, what knife can you use in the third row? Oh right, Duelist Advance.
I mean, you could also use the bleeding one. I'm pretty sure.
I don't like that skill, and people hate me because I don't.
Well, I mean, you're wrong, but that's your prerogative.
So, next episode, we have a mission I'm really proud of, and hopefully a special guest.
Oh my.
See you folks next time.